All right, hey, oh, Jesus Christ.
You don't have to yell.
You know what I'm doing. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is the last episode in the C6 series. I had planned on the 5 videos that I have out, but we came across a lot of things while we were doing this car, and I just kind of cobbled them together in this last video. We replaced the cabin air filter assembly, the K&N filter. We put splash guards on, the GM splash guards on the side. We removed the aftermarket spoiler from the rear, and I replaced the DIC bezel on the instrument cluster. The bulbs burned out. It was cheaper to buy a new one than to try to mess with it, and we went ahead and got that installed as well. So I pieced everything together for you in this video. I hope you enjoy it, and if you have any questions, just let me know. So one of the things we were doing, in addition to the lighting, was Rex had an aftermarket factory spoiler on the back. It was adhered with the 4 bolts where the third brake light goes and the double-sided tape. So I ended up getting that off carefully with a heat gun. I was able to pull it apart. I cut some specific areas on the top of the spoiler with a die grinder so I could get it to flex where I needed to. So after that was off, I was left with all this 2-sided tape across the back. And what I did was I went to CarQuest. I got 3M General Purpose Adhesive Remover, part number 08984. I wet a rag and I was able to soak most of it. The general purpose adhesive remover will not hurt your paint. It'll take the finish off. You're going to have to, wax it or buff it at least to get some shine back, but it'll soften up the adhesive. And my wife was nice enough to let me have one of her Pampered Chef pot scrapers. And it has a flat bottom with beveled edges. It's got rounded corners and it's got a sharp corner. And I was able to just scrape all that off with the pot scraper. And then once you get the bulk of the foam and the adhesive off, then you can soak a rag in the adhesive remover and go ahead and clean it up. And that's basically what I did. And I did that also right here before I put the new emblem on. I didn't want to wax that area before I put the emblem on. Okay, well, as you can see here, we got this old spoiler off. It was like this, wrap around 4 bolts here where the factory third brake light went, and about 40 linear feet of adhesive tape. So we got this. We got the Morimoto LED taillights to put in. I got a new emblem on here. We're waiting for the third brake light that's coming. It's painted body color because of the holidays. The shipping's slow, but we're not going to put the brake lights in until that comes in. One of the other things we did was the K&N filter. So this is the oval bracket that goes on the front for the factory filter. Take that off, toss the factory filter, put the K&N in. It's got L bracket, U brackets here, one here, and you use 4 of the original 6 screws to hold that in. Okay, well there we go, piece of cake. You got 3 pins on the top of that core support this goes into. Slide your intake into your flexible neck here, and make sure you plug in your sensor for your air intake. So in addition to the air filter, there's also a cabin filter. This is serviceable through GM. Above the battery is a door. It sits up against the firewall, and it's got 3 hinge clips on top. It's got tabs down here where it locks into the lip. You got to remove your battery. We're putting a new battery in here anyway, plus I wanted to yank it because we're doing all kinds of other things, but you just slide it into the slot, kind of wiggle it around that valve cover trim, and cover plate back up and lock down your 3 levers. That's all there is to it. All right, one of the other things that we found out with this car is on the DIC switches on the right-hand side of the instrument cluster, these bulbs were all burned out. And on Corvette Forum, there is some discussion on how you can take this apart and change those bulbs. But what I found was that I went to the Chevy dealer and I priced this out and it was like 60 bucks. So rather than mess with all of that, we just ordered a new one. So it's really simple to get in the car, but one of the things we found out was that when we ordered the new one, these switch buttons are kind of a slate gray, and the buttons in Rex's Corvette are black. So we had to switch those out. Okay, so to switch the buttons, there's little clips on the side. There's 2 here, there's 3 here. I found it easier to take these 2 off first, and then the other 3 come out rather easily. So these are the bulbs that go out, and you can take this plate off, and like I said in the forum, there's guys that have replaced these bulbs. For the time involved and for the cost of the switch, we just bought the whole bezel. But the buttons didn't match. His buttons were black, and as you can see from the back here, these are more of a gray. So I didn't even take the buttons out of the bezel. I just took the entire bezel and put it on the other pod and put it in the car. So that's all you really need to do. It probably didn't take us 10 minutes. Okay, so to replace that, all you have to do is grab your switch clusters right here and pull, and these pop off. I'm not actually going to do it now because we just got the car put back together, but they have these spring-loaded clips in the back here. There's one on this side, there's 2 up under here, and then down where the ignition switch is one, and down at the bottom of the vent is one. So you pull on that and you can pull it out. If you want, you can unplug everything, but we didn't do that because we found it too difficult to try and get the plugs out of all the backs of the switches. So what we did was, there's 3 Phillips head screws on the back of these clusters. So we took the 3 Phillips head screws off. We're able to pull this pod away from the surround. Then we unplugged it, and then we plugged the new one in, and then reassembly is obviously the reverse of disassembly. Okay, so in the previous photo, you saw where we took the 4 push pins off on the passenger side that hold the inner fender well on. You take your GM splash guard, hold it up against here. It comes with 16 push pins, 4 for each corner. Put those in, hold it up against the body, pull the red cover off the adhesive tape, and stick that to your body. We use the same 3M adhesive remover that I showed you in a few other videos to clean the body really good, get all of the wax and residue and dirt off, so that tape has something really good to stick to. The rear, you have to drill 4 holes into the fender well. Again, comes with the extra push pins for that, and we'll go ahead and show you that in a minute. Okay, well, we got the rears on, and they were not without their problems. The passenger side one went on perfect. It's much easier with 2 people to have somebody hold this up exactly where you want. Take your scribe, mark your holes, drill them out. I used a step drill. It's a lot easier. It's a lot cleaner. The problem we had on the driver's side was the inner fender well was just warped, the plastic. And there was a 1/2 inch gap all the way down between the mud flap and the inner fender well. What we ended up doing is I drilled a small hole. I got a 90-degree angle pick tool. I put it in there, and I was able to pull that fender well while my son pushed down on the mud flap, and we got the pins in. I took this bolt out here, and I was able to get in, and I did it for this one, and I had to drill down here to do it for that one. But we did get it on, and it looks really good. So there's a problem with the C5s and C6s of wind whistling up underneath the bottom of this cowl at the base of the windshield and creating a lot of wind noise. So GM actually has a service bulletin out on it, and what they said is to wrap some type of foam tape or adhesive around the edges of these clips to hold it onto the cowl better. So we're doing that, but in addition, I have adhesive foam seal that we're going to try to put on there to keep it from flapping against the glass, in addition to the tabs on the clips. Okay, so Earlier you saw how we put the foam adhesive on the backs of the clips, and we put a foam seal on here. A lot of the noise was wind noise, but what my son was telling me is that the plastic cowl was slapping on the windshield. So if you can see here, this is the foam seal we put on. Now it's only single-sided adhesive, so it's not sticking to the glass. And it's got a lot of cush, but look how much space that there was that it's taken up. So hopefully we solved the problem of that banging on the windshield. All right, well that's it for the C6 series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Rex is leaving for LA. Probably nothing left going on with this car except some rims and tires in the future. When he gets those and he sent me some pics, I'll put them up. And nothing else really with Extreme Ray right now. But if I come up with something with that as well, I'll go ahead and post it. I hope to get with some other C3 owners in my area and make some videos of their cars and show you what they've done. So until the next video, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.